Hello, everybody. We're getting a bit of a late start here on the broadcast. Well, let me not blow everybody's ears out. Sorry about that. Yeah, getting a bit of a late start on the broadcast here, but we're here at Rudskogen for the last week of the season. And let's take a look at what we've got going on here. So we're only 2 laps in, I believe. This is lap 2 of race 1 of Rudskogen. And let's just take a look of how this started and what we got going on right now. So, we have started with Greg Calabria qualifying up at the front and just already starting to run away with things a bit. He's already got a 2-second lead over the field. I want to say all but one person in this race is, or all but 2 people in this race is graduate, I want to say. So we've got just a really, really stacked field anyway. But for Greg to get out ahead of it is very, very strong. Greg, Steve, and Jim have all graduated. We got to them. That might have actually all happened since our last broadcast. And yeah, I mean, CTD has been extremely successful in our goal to get people across the finish line, which is very, very cool. So yeah, I'm going to try to get some context here for what we are looking at. So we are on lap 3. Look at the lead that Greg has as he zooms on by down the straight, down onto this turn. Now this turn is called Anxiety, and that is because, as you can see, someone's already losing. You're going down, and that's Jeremy Toasty, unfortunately, who, as I'm explaining what that is, he shows us why it's called Anxiety. It is one of the most difficult corners on the track. And one of the more difficult corners in, I would say, actually, now that I think about it, it is probably the most difficult corner in the free racing on iRacing. It is a downhill right-hander that goes into I don't even know how you put it. It's just like it's like a big long hairpin. A lot of it's downhill off camber. And it is just an extremely difficult corner. But that will put Jeremy Toasty here. Greg Calabria keeps his about a 2.5 second lead over about 15 minutes to go in so far. We'll try to find a battle going on here, and we will. It's going to be Steve Hill here, who is going up right up against Joey Essinger, I would say. Not going to lie to you folks, I went from taking a nap to broadcasting in approximately 5 minutes, so I am waking up as the broadcast is waking up, and we get things going here. But our biggest battle right now is for P3. That is Joey Essinger versus Steve Hill. You can see Joey taking the outside of the line. Now, I want to say a couple of these liveries didn't load. Or maybe the liveries got reset. I'm not 100% sure what's going on, but I would imagine that there's maybe a little bit of truth to both. We head around the final corner here. Why don't we follow Greg Calabria around on a lap? and then we can sort of get a good idea of Rudskogen. I call it Rudskogen, but it's actually Rudskogen. Let's go ahead and just start it on the cockpit here. So now you can see what it looks like on anxiety. This is essentially the fourth turn, and you can see it is a long, hard right-hander. Look how Greg has to feather the throttle all the way across there. He's to manage the brakes and the throttle, and now we have what's sort of like a mountain stage. You've got to go to the left and then to the right and then up over the left, and we're probably going to see Greg cut the corner. That's going to be Kevin Cohen passing Greg out of nowhere. Greg clearly had an issue somewhere because Kevin Cohen just closed this gap by like a significant margin. We might have missed an issue by Greg Calabria that brought Kevin Cohen right up to the front, but now we're going to see, and that was what a place to pass as well. My goodness, that was an excellent pass by Kevin, and we're going to have to probably go back out to our battle screen here. Making himself known, but what an excellent battle for the lead, and what an excellent pass for the lead. Kevin Cohen maintains his 2/10 lead down anxiety. See Greg Calabria having to look around the outside, but this is, you can pass around anxiety. It is just a phenomenally tough time to do it. Now we're going to hit it. See, Greg does cut the corner like I said he would have, and does he end up on the other side of things, coming down this side of the mountain? And no, it is Greg Calabria, who is now getting passed by Joey Essinger. And that is going to be Greg Calabria looking to take the position back. He looks like he does, but, Greg had a look on the inside there at one turn, and that he might have been able to do more than he could chew, and almost does again. And this time, let's see if he'll be able to hold it. I doubt he will. He'll be able to hold this to Joey Essinger as he just ends up on the outside, but goes right back on the inside. It looks like there might be some contact. Luckily, nobody spun. That was damn close, though. Greg Calabria on the grass, clearly not wanting to give up that position. But he's going to drop down to fourth. He had a 2.5-second lead. And Kevin Cohen, you can see way up the road at this point. He is loving the fighting by a determined, shall we say, Greg Calabria. Really not happy about going from first to fourth there. And that's going to be Joey Essinger and Steve Hill getting past him. We are halfway through the race. We've got Kevin Cohen now with a commanding lead over Joey Essinger, Steve Hill, and Greg Calabria as they fight for P2. Behind them, Jim Campbell has actually come up to the back of that pack. He is fighting for that as well. Becky Green, Miraz Margulu, Jim Toasty, and Adnan Margulu. Our father-son combo with both Adnan and Jeremy unfortunately having an incident that took them out of the running for this race. But look at the lead of Kevin Cohen. They come around this hairpin. This hairpin is uphill, so it's downhill to uphill. It's an interesting one. As we start lap 8, I believe. take a look at our overall positions again. So Joey Essinger, Steve Hill, and Greg Calabria, and Jim Campbell along the fight, but it does look like Joey is pulling out quite a nice lead over Steve Hill and Greg Calabria, because Greg is really trying to get that third place back at least, right? And it's tough. It is absolutely tough for that to happen. And it is allowing Joey Essinger to come up the road here as Greg Calabria does get that place back. And Steve's going to go down around the inside of this turn, but Greg's going to be on the outside for the next two. So it does look like Greg is going to be able to establish residency in front of Steve Hill and take back third position. But he's going to look ahead of him and see that he is a second and a half behind Joey Essinger. And Kevin Cohen, who clearly had an issue because he went from being 2.5 seconds up the road all the way up, all the way down to like 7/10. This is a exceptionally difficult track, especially for free drivers. So even though we don't have rain this week, we don't have any, the weather isn't necessarily too bad. It is still a difficult course, and no lead is safe from, especially from anxiety. It does get easier the more you do it, but as they head down anxiety, there's a lot can go wrong in anxiety, especially if you start to get nervous and, you either see your lead slipping away or whatever. As you can see, Joey going a bit wide there, but everybody has their preferred line through anxiety. Joey looking a bit wider than Kevin there. The hill, and down they go with Joey Essinger starting to put Kevin Cohen under some significant amount of pressure here. Now as they head down the hairpin around the hairpin they go. That is going to be Kevin Cohen, he's just not able to shake Joey Essinger at this point. Actually, Essinger, I believe. I'm a bit rusty with the broadcast, but it'll all come back, don't you worry. Kevin Cohen, a nice lap. Joey was 2/10 faster than Kevin, but not enough to close that gap. And as you can see, Kevin having a very nice turn one. He's going to increase the gap, which of course as we see it goes right back down to 5/10. And this is the main battle we have right now. With 5 minutes to go, we've got Kevin Cohen and Joey Essinger for P1, and then we've got Greg Calabria, Steve Hill, and Jim Campbell for P3. Sit here and enjoy the beautiful Rudskogen. This is a track in Norway of all places. And we don't spend a lot of time in Sweden going racing. Or Sweden. In the Nordic countries, I would say, going racing. You'd think that we would. Some extremely talented drivers from, Norway and Finland and Sweden. One of the first ones that I'd like to come to mind is Kimi Räikkönen, who is Finnish, as well as Mika Hakkinen, who is Finnish, but not a ton of racetracks up there that are widely raced, and that's likely because the weather's more extreme up there. So their racetracks tend to be more autocross or rally or, just generally nature oriented, but not a lot of road racing courses up there. So it is nice to be this far north in Europe. The battle we've got that's on your screen right now is the closest battle at the moment. Actually, it's kind of hard to say because Steve Hill and Jim Campbell have been yo-yoing back and forth. And this is the battle for P4. We have reached a place of stability. Why we are in a place of stability. Let's talk a little bit about CTD. So this is the last race of the season. iRacing has its seasons, and as soon as, of course, I talk about anything other than the race, we see something major happen, and that was Joey Essinger going wide and allowing Kevin Cohen to get out of the draft. That was a big moment, because that is going to put a lot of distance between Kevin Cohen and Joey Essinger, and then, unfortunately for Joey, that's going to bring Greg Calabria right up in the draft to him, and Greg is quick. We saw him open up a big lead earlier. Anxiety we go, down and around, and Joey, we're going to see whether Greg is going to be able to make a late charge on Joey. He's not going to have that much time. He's going to have this lap and the next lap, and that's going to be race over. Such an interesting track. My apologies for not being here at the start of the race. You ever set your alarm for the complete opposite time, where instead of AM you set it for PM? That was unfortunately me. And woke up with a couple minutes to go. As Joey Esker going wide again, and that's going to bring Ray Calabria potentially ever so close. But these battles are widening a little bit with these gaps on. So the biggest battle we have right now is going to be that battle for P4 as we enter the white flag lap, and we're just going to watch that because that's the most interesting thing going on track right now. This is Steve Hill and Jim Campbell starting the last lap of the race, and we're going to see how Greg defends against Jim. Turns again. This is uphill, so the Mazda does, struggle to get up the hill a little bit. But now we're going to head down Anxiety, and how is Steve going to manage his own anxiety? And how is Jim going to handle? Jim's in dirty areas in the draft. Will there be any gap widened or shortened through this? As you can see, they both take different lines. You see Jim going up on 2 wheels there for a second as he tries to squeeze as much speed as he can through there, but back to where around the same. To go up and over the hill. And, Jim has just not been able to mount any sort of serious attack on Steve so far, so it is looking like we're going to need something from Steve, or some sort of mistake from Steve in order to get it going. But meanwhile, we're going to watch Kevin Cohen. Very, very well earned win. He's going to take the race win here at Rudskogen, followed by Joey Essinger, Ray Calabria, Steve Hill, Jim Campbell, Jacob Green came up there at the end. And that is our main pack. Moads Martini, Jeremy Toasty, Adnan Mardini, and Keith Winnop will follow them. Well, what we will likely see next season is an updated broadcast, I'm hoping. More Mazda action, a lot of stuff going on, so we will hope to see you then. Let's take a look at our race results. With Kevin Cohen, Joey Essinger, and Greg Calabria taking the podium, and we will see you next time we see you.